We're here live to introduce a previously recorded event at the 2013 Emerald City ComiCon in none other than the Cinerama Theater.
Emerald City. There's nice people there. They serve you chocolates and stuff. If you pay like, if my girl wanted to go most expensive place in town, I took her to the movies. You mean like the ones in the parking lot?
Kick rocks.
Oh boy, I'm helping.
For a screening of the 1969 Batman motion picture with a Q&A following with none other than Adam West and Burt Ward themselves.
Adam West and Burt Ward, that's that Batman and that ribbon fella. He's one of them little tykes when he first started that show. Got that little karate stuff with the Biff and the Pow. Did that stuff just come out their head, or did somebody draw that on walls right behind him?
Can you start walking now?
That's that Batman and ribbon fella. You know, a little guy with the Biff and the Pow and the Q&A in the 1969 Batman movie. I watched it with no remorse.
Wrong walking.
I stabbed you in the neck with a soldering iron. I know we lived.
Enjoy.
We would like to get this party started, and like Jim said, Joe said, hope you're not in any rush for the screening to start, because we have a very special few minutes to give you here. I'd like to come to the stage now. I got to tell you, I was a little brother all my life, so I never got to be the Batman. But I was honored to be the Boy Wonder. Please welcome Mr. Burt Ward.
Wowie zowie. Oh. Golly gee willikers, it's great to be here. I'll tell you, obviously we got Seattle's finest here. What a crowd. You guys are cool. We're going to have a great weekend, sign a lot of autographs, answer a lot of questions. And Adam and I love working together and working with people and talking about our shows, so we're going to have a lot of fun. And, well, without further ado, how about introducing my buddy?
I would be honored. Dick Grayson would have been just a kid on the street without the help of this next gentleman. A man who doesn't need me to introduce him, but I will not miss the opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, the Caped Crusader himself, the classic, and to me, one and only Batman, Mr. Adam West.
And the crowd goes wild.
Thank you, baby. Thanks, folks. I just walked in the street. What's playing here tonight? Why don't we just stand here for a couple of minutes and let you admire our incredible crime-fighting physiques?
And we have the opportunity to spend a rare, intimate few moments with a Q&A for you before the screening starts. 1966's Batman the movie. These guys in this movie truly are pioneers of the action, the comic genre of cinema making. What they were able to do in 1966, the primitive resources available to them at the time, truly still to this day is a mind-blowing and heart-thrilling experience. So I'd like to now at this point introduce to you your moderator for this evening's Q&A session from Q13, Mr. John Hopperstad.
Hello, John. No, you're not.
Not worried at all.
But these guys are. How about the legends that are Adam West and Burt Ward? Batman and Robin.
It's very kind of you. That's the best introduction I've had all day.
Yes, I agree with you.
You'll have a great one tomorrow as well. We do have something we want to do right now as well. The mayor has a proclamation, as you all know. Adam West, born here in Seattle, Washington, lived in Washington State for much of his life. He's a homeboy. And the mayor has a special proclamation today, so we're going to bring out his representative right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the office of the Honorable again, Mr. Aaron Fishbone. Give him a hand.
Hello, Aaron. How you doing, Aaron?
Good, thank you, Mr. West. Mayor McGinn, sorry he's not able to be here, but on his behalf, I am happy to read this proclamation. Now, please bear with me because it's quite lengthy, which is a testament to your career, Mr. West.
It's a long one.
Please bear with us. The state government document, but nonetheless belies an exciting career. Whereas, today we are honored to celebrate the work of Adam West, a man who forever changed American culture by playing the role of the legendary Caped Crusader Batman. And whereas Adam West was born and raised in Washington, spending time in both Seattle and Walla Walla before graduating from Whitman College and venturing to Hawaii for his first acting role as sidekick on the El Kino Popo Show. And whereas Adam West moved to Hollywood in 1959, taking roles in television westerns, detective, and action shows while working in films with legends like Paul Newman and Doug McClure. And whereas Americans tuning into ABC in 1966 were the first to see Adam West in his iconic and timeless role as Batman, a show that brought the Caped Crusader into millions of homes around the world and made Adam West a global superstar. And whereas the series endures to this day because of a dedicated fan base, comic conventions, and the current reruns, and the current work of Batman fans like Matt Groening, Drew Carey, and Conan O'Brien. And whereas Mr. West went on to author 2 books while making appearances in hit television shows and movies while keeping Batman alive through various projects and countless public appearances. And whereas this Emerald City is proud to host its own Dark Knight, a man whose dedication and skill took him all over the world and into millions of homes, whose heroics in Gotham have benefited the city and the larger world. Now, the mayor of the city of Seattle, to the mayor of Quahog, declares and proclaims February 28, 2013 to be Adam West Day in the city of Seattle.
Thank you, folks. I'm so impressed, I can't speak. For me?
That's for you. It's your day. And your proclamation.
Is that real gold?
That is not exactly real gold. We're frugal in the city. We're frugal. We're using the taxpayer money as well, but it is the seal of the city nonetheless.
But it's about time that people got frugal in government. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you seen the Seattle budget lately? There's no gold there. Thanks for being here so much. It's great to have you guys here. And I think it's the first time that Adam and Burt have been in Seattle together in their career, in the history of their career. Is that right?
It could be. We've been in a couple cities, about 7,000 in the last 45 years.
I want to start off, kind of a news guy, so I want to start off with a breaking news story here. Just in the last day, and I know you're not happy about this, Burt. Robin is dead. The comic books have killed off Robin. I don't know if anybody, we get some thumbs down. I don't know if people know about this.
Holy resurrection. Now, let me tell you, it's a different Robin, believe it or not.
It is.
They have my character, of course, is, well, Dick Grayson, but don't tell anybody. Joker could be watching. But the character of Robin in the comic book that they killed off his name is Damian Wayne. And don't worry, he'll be back. I mean, Warner Brothers is really good at making money.
They always come back, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you guys back. It's been almost, we were talking about this backstage, it's been over 45 years now since the TV series premiered. What has it been like in those years since then? And obviously the fan base is still here right behind you.
Well, let me say seriously, it's an incredibly satisfying, rewarding thing for any celebrity or actor, whatever, to have that kind of fan base. You people have been so wonderful, and I'm really grateful. I'm not stroking you at all. It's just been
Well, maybe a little bit.
well, but it's a wonderful thing. Did you pay money?
I believe they did.
Well, that's what you get, you see.
You recently got a well-deserved, I think it's almost a year now, your star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Let's hear it for that.
It's amazing.
Long-deserved, well-deserved.
Thank you. I have stars and sidewalks all over the country. It took like 40 years to get it in Hollywood because I wouldn't pay for the damn thing. But the wonderful, kind of gratifying thing is you fans paid for the star. Thank you. Yes. So keep that money coming in.
Going back, do you remember the first time you met each other? The first time you were on the set together? What was
Oh, I'll
that
never
like?
forget that first kiss.
He was just a boy.
I know. You know, there have been so many rumors because of the tights.
You know, we used to say that what's so strange about two guys running around wearing tights and living together? You know what I mean? What's that big deal?
Is that normal?
It isn't that word?
Here in Seattle.
Well, Whoa. We couldn't get away with anything, for God's sakes. There was Aunt Harriet watching every move, and great cookies.
Do you remember the first time you put on the cowl and the cape? And what was that? As I understand it, you had a tough time being able to see through that mask.
Well, yeah, I'll never forget the first time I pulled it on. I couldn't get it off for a week. It was that tight. But it was a wonderful piece of equipment in that most actors use the costuming in their work, in their approach to a character. And for me, it was very simple because I remembered playing Batman as a kid. So when I pulled on the cowl, it was just like in my head I was going, hey, come on, Burt, let's go out and play Batman and Robin. I'll be Batman this time.
And you did this as well. You were a big comic book reader growing up?
Actually, I liked Superboy because where I lived, they didn't have a Batman comic book available. But I remember as a child, 3 years old, driving my tricycle around with a bath towel clipped to my, around my neck. And, I believe thoughts are things. I just was focused on, wow, I wanted to be Superboy. I wanted to be Superboy. And when I had the opportunity to try out for the role, which, by the way, I had no idea what I was trying out for. I was sent over there, and the casting director said, oh, you want to meet the executive producer? And I figured, oh, everybody gets to meet the executive producer. And it was really, it was terrific. And then working with Adam, we tested together. I think Adam already had the role, but we tested together. And there was another young actor that was trying out. Actually, 1,100 guys tried out for the part of Robin, which is quite a bit of competition. And I was kind of honored because when they came to me to say that I had the role, they said, Burt, would you like to know why we picked you to play Robin? I said, yeah, I'd like to know. And they said, well, it's because, in our opinion, if there really was a Robin, you'd be it. So we don't want you to act. We want you to be yourself and be enthusiastic. That's what I did.
And real thing. How about the chemistry? Was it there right at the beginning?
When I signed on to do it, I said, whoever plays Robin, yes, the chemistry has to be right. And so I said, of course I would test with this young punk. And we put on some costumes that weren't, what we ended up in. And we did a test scene, and Burt and I immediately, I knew the chemistry was there, because he was, as he put it, enthusiastic, and he had that naivete and that wonderful kind of open attitude that a Robin probably would have. And I gotta tell him, he was really there. He's changed a little, but not much.
Well, I had the wonderful opportunity of working with an actor who's been around and been very successful and knew the ropes. He knew what he could get away with and what he couldn't get away with.
Ooh, watch it.
And I learned quite a bit from my dear friend Adam. I don't know if any of you have read either of our books,
Here it comes.
but we had some, I think we had some pretty wild times, didn't we?
You had a lot of fun.
Speak for yourselves.
Those are my kids right there in the front.
Uh-oh,
So we got
get her.
G rated.
I'm wondering.
Go back to G.
Hi, kids.
But speaking of that, there was some controversy over Robin's tights. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, first of all, I think man was not built for tights. I used to call them my python pants because they nearly strangled me to death. But yeah, and especially since your kids are here, I'm not sure I can really correctly answer that question, but let's just say that things didn't always look right. Now, in my particular case, the wardrobe department at 20th Century Fox is very creative. They have a number of different kinds of things that they want to put on you, and restraints and things like that. And of course, when none of that worked, they did find this doctor, and who gave me these pills that I tried for about a week and then thought, geez, I'm never going to be able to have kids if I keep taking these pills. So I decided to use my cape and cover, and that's how I got through the other 3 years.
Good. Adam,
That was huge.
Yes, that's you. Now, on the other hand, there was some strange things, the word out that Adam was stuffing Turkish towels in his tights. But I don't believe that was true.
You know, tights have been worn historically in film by some pretty macho guys, not just Burt. Errol Flynn.
true.
Errol Flynn. The Count of Monte Cristo. Liberace. By the way, there's a new Liberace movie.
I heard.
Yeah.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah. And I've just finished a Liberace painting. I paint a little bit. And if anybody is interested, before the movie comes out, it's only $7,500. Would you bring it out, please?
Holy bargain basements.
And of course, Liberace, one of the villains on the show.
Yes, Liberace was a villain. I think, what was his character, Fingers?
Yes, George. Where's my candelabra?
Please. He tried so hard to be tough on the show. It just didn't work.
Any other villains that stick out to you from that time? And we've got the obvious ones. Everybody loves the Joker. Caesar Romero, right?
Oh, great.
And the Penguin, of course, Burgess Meredith. Who's
My
Penguin
favorite.
fans in the audience here? He's about the best.
I like Pinky, baby. And he always blew smoke under my cowl, and it got pretty irritating. But as an actor, you know, you use those things. It seemed to work out. Oh, Frank Gorshin, the late
Frank Gorshin, the Riddler.
Joker's assistant, the Riddler.
Riddler was brilliant. He always played on a kind of manic edge, which we enjoyed, you know, and we made each other laugh a lot. Just
How about-
like tonight.
Just like tonight.
You're making me laugh a lot. And I'm making you laugh a little?
Just a lot. A little and a lot.
Are those your kids?
Right there, these two right up front, yeah.
Hey, guys.
They're huge Batman fans.
How are you? you know, your dad is being so nice to us. Really, this is terrific.
They find that unusual. They're not used to that. Of course, Catwoman allowed you, allowed you to show off a more romantic side of Batman.
What's playing here this evening?
Oh, that's right. Well, there's a movie as well, yeah.
Well, you're going to see a very romantic side of Bruce Wayne, this poor son. I mean, tonight he woos Catwoman in a very poetic way. Anyway, it's kind of amusing. But yes, I had 3 Catwomen. That's 27 lives, you know. That's pretty hard to deal with.
Is there, now the movie, we're going to see the movie tonight, and that came out in 1966. The movie was supposed to be first, right? And then the television series, but it didn't end up that way.
No. The series was first. The movie came as a result of it being very popular. They wanted to get a full feature out. So we made it during our hiatus, which is that point in time when we finished the first group of episodes. Yeah, no, the Batman the movie was designed to come out after.
And I don't think there's a lot of younger people here that weren't around back then. They don't realize what a hit right out of the gate this was. When you guys went on the air, it was an immediate sensation.
Yeah, well, actually, they said the first night that Batman aired, which was Tuesday, January 12, 1966, that there was a 55 share. Now, in television terms, that means of all the television sets on in the United States, 55% of them were watching Batman, and all the other stations shared 45%.
Was it bigger than Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Housewives of Walla Walla?
Of course, it was like a perfect storm. Color television's coming out, a very colorful show. But kind of talk to me about the way you approach this show. A kid watching that show, when I was a kid, deadly serious. I think we can all agree. We took it serious. No matter how funny the situation, we bought into Batman and Robin and they're battling the bad guys. As you get older, you start to see the humor in all of this. Was that the idea all along? And you had to buy into that from day one.
Well, that's why I did it, because we all got married with the concept that it would be for adults and the kids, the entire family spectrum. And I think really if we hadn't done that with humor and had that kind of comedy and pretend, it wouldn't have lasted. I think that's what gave it this long life, really.
Well, also,
thank you all.
You know what made our show different is that up until that point in time, if you watched a police show, you know, all serious about catching a criminal, you watched a medical show about saving somebody's life, but never before in television history had people intentionally put on their audience. We used to say that we put on our tights to put on the world, and that we were the only superheroes that wore our underwear on the outside of our clothes. But we had a lot of fun doing it, and you know, everybody got something out of it. The kids got the hero worship, the adults got the nostalgia of the comic book, and the teenagers and the college kids, which was the hardest audience in 1966 to capture, they got something they never expected. Double meanings, double entendres. They weren't ever sure that anything we said was exactly like we said it. And they were right. And it takes a certain kind of demented mind to do that. And under Adam's tutelage, I learned very well.
Very quickly.
Adam, I was looking around, I found a great quote, I think a perfect quote about how you approached Batman. It said, Adam West elevated goofy earnestness to the level of absolute genius. I thought that was pretty appropriate in how
Pretty cool.
you portray Batman. How did you, when they offered you the role, you take this, here's Batman, you can go all kinds of different directions here. We've seen that over the years with the movies, the way they went. How did you approach it? What was going through your mind, and how are you going to portray this?
Well, I can only tell you that I felt if you did portray the character, and the whole ambience of the show as like a kid's wonderful game with that kind of enthusiasm, it wouldn't work. And if you didn't have a little twinkle behind the masks, you know, that you kind of knew what was going on and you're trying to bust out of there, it wouldn't work. It would be like, this is not disparaging, but it would be like the Lone Ranger or something. And indeed, I got many comments from all over the world where the writers, producers happened to be at the moment when they saw the dailies. They said, "What's that kid doing? What in the heck he did? He's being funny, and he's odd. I don't know whether he's gay or straight or what's he doing?" And I loved it, but it was pretty tough to go on with all of those negative comments. But you know, after the first 2 weeks of the dailies and them seeing it, they loved it. And they said, "Let him do what he wants," which is the greatest compliment an actor can have, that kind of confidence from those folks, you know, that maybe he knows what he's doing.
Clearly he did. Clearly he did.
Thank you so much.
We mentioned you're a hometown boy, born in Seattle, spent time in Walla Walla, came back to Seattle, went back to college in Walla Walla. Take me back. What are your recollections as a boy growing up in the Northwest?
Well, I grew up on a ranch outside of Walla Walla, Washington, mostly. And then we got a house in town. But I spent most of my young life on the ranches with my grandfather, my father. I mean, I slopped the hogs, I milked cows, I chased cattle. I did everything. But you know, they put us in the movies on Saturday mornings downtown at the Roxy Theater. And we saw all those great Western movies and the serials, Flashpoint and all that stuff. And I thought, you know, there must be a bigger world out there somewhere than taking care of these hogs. And I guess I began to get
Kind of like Robin better. And, you know, I loved athletics. I was a black belt in karate since I was 16 years old. And which at that time, I'll tell you, nobody had ever heard of it except very few people in California, whereas now everybody knows about it. So it was a lot of fun. And for me, I really liked the fight scenes. I liked all the action. It wasn't something that was, we had to put on anything or that, I mean, Adam and I are really, you know, we're athletic people and we really enjoyed the fight scenes. We enjoyed the action of climbing the walls, all that kind of stuff. And we enjoyed the audiences and playing to the audiences. But we did have the censors every week that were really honest because, you know, oh, you can't do that. You can't say that. And yet we did it anyway. In fact, there was, if you'd like me to mention a situation, there was a time when Adam and I had brought Batgirl into the Batcave. I don't know if you remember that. We were going to show her the Batcave. We had to give her a little whiff of bat gas so she would recognize where she was. We brought her into the Batcave. We showed her the Batcave, and on the way out, there was this scene where Adam as Batman is getting ready to start up the Batmobile. Batgirl is sitting in between us, and I'm sitting, of course, in my chair. And he gives her this bat gas and knocks her out. And we have this just very short dialogue, just a couple of lines. And you know, the two of us having worked together for so long, I mean, nothing. You know, it's one of those things, first take. But it wasn't first take here. For some reason, my dear friend kept missing the lines. And I didn't understand because that's not like him. He knows his stuff. But by the time we got to take 11, and at $30,000 an hour, okay, and you could see the director panicking in his eyes, I knew that something really was up. And the dialogue was something like this. I said, "Gosh, Batman, you know, Batgirl is really pretty." And his line was something to the effect of, "Well, Robin, I'm glad that you noticed," or something like that. But yeah, how could you mess up that for 11 takes? Anyway, so what happened? He was such a smart guy. Let me tell you, he knew the breaking point when they were going to have to use this next take no matter what. No matter what, they were going to have to use it. Funny how your memory comes back when you have the right lines to say. So here we go. Take 12. You know, roll camera, action. "Gosh, Batman, you know, Batgirl is really pretty." And he says, "You know, Robin, I'm glad you noticed. It shows the oncoming thrust of manhood. Now, I could hardly keep from laughing. I had tears coming down my mask. I didn't want to ruin the shot. The director didn't even notice. He was so desperate to move on to the next scene. But boy, next week when those censors came in, they were madder than hell.
You did have good times, didn't you?
Oh, this guy is a wild guy, let me tell you.
Speaking, I want to get this in, but speaking of fight scenes, one of the famous fight scenes is when you have the Green Hornet and Kato. And you two face off with them, and of course, this is Seattle legend. We have another Seattle legend here, Bruce Lee. In fact, they're getting ready to build Bruce Lee Action Museum right here in Seattle. You're facing off with Bruce Lee, and you were friends with him, right?
Yeah, actually, we lived in the same condominium complex, and he and I used to spar together. This is before doing Batman, so I was used to fighting him. And when they had this one scene, and in fact, it's kind of an honor because the very first cinematic fight scene that Bruce had was fighting me. And they said, you know, look, we don't want this to look too real. We don't want either of you to look like you have the edge on the other, because you're both supposed to be, you know, kind of the good guys. And it's the same executive producer that used Batman to launch the Green Hornet, and that was the purpose of really having them on that show. So when we started doing the fight scene, we really were kind of holding back, but it would have been fun to really go all out because the audience really would have noticed it. They would have noticed the difference.
I think we are going to have to wrap it up here and actually watch this great movie. Batman.
Holy popcorn!
Any last words, Adam, coming back to your hometown for ComiCon?
It's difficult because, you know, I sound like maybe I'm pandering to an audience, but I have never known better people than Washingtonians. Really. My wife and I are spending more and more time here, not only Walla Walla, but up around Seattle. We really like it. Thank you so much for being here.
Wow, that was
Thank you so much, the legend, Adam West.